All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I want to do a reaction to the part of the speech where former Prime Minister of Jamaica, that pretty much served for 18 years, highly criticized, also highly praised. You know, there's a definitely a separation in what people think about him. For the neutrals, they have their position. For persons that are on a certain persuasion, you obviously know that they are for, and even some people that are on the other side, they were highly against this man right here. But it is what it is. I'm not here to praise him or what he did. I think there's always more that politicians could have done and differently. But hey, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to examine some of the things that he said. So let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Please smash that like button coming to the door. Let's go.
But I simply want to say that arising from then, we developed a political system where two parties have been predominant. And of course, those who will not venture for service are prepared to spend all their time abusing and denigrating those who do.
True.
Yes, our political system has not produced all that we would have desired, but thank God we have a vibrant, plural democracy.
Yeah.
We have fundamental rights and freedoms which have been preserved and which the people, the electorate, will never allow to be eroded. We have reached that point where after 62 years of independence, the time has come when there needs to be certainly changes in our constitutional arrangements. I want to remind everybody who seems to have forgotten that we spent a lot of time during my administration trying to fashion changes, some obvious and immediate changes. That was done in a consultative spirit.
Yeah.
We reached a point where we were agreed on all the essential elements, certainly including leaving the monarchy. And for those who choose not to remember, on the question of the final Court of Appeal, there was no question. The report itself said, when we leave the monarch's crown, we also leave the monarch's court. And without going into the long background, I just want you all to be mindful of the fact that Bustamante and Manley, who were both committed to the monarchy, accepted that our final court would not be the Privy Council. And that is why the provision about the Privy Council was put in by both of them as a simple amendment, so that when, after the other islands had achieved their independence and we had agreed on a judicial system to establish a federal court, then 110 would have been taken out simply, and the new federal court, which is the CCJ, would have been inserted. Some people are trying to make political mischief by suggesting that the reason for the position taken by the opposition party has something to do with who was Mark's Golding father.
Oh gosh.
It is imbecilic.
Good word.
And being charitable when I say that. And it is imbecilic.
Good word.
And being charitable when I say that. I would go further. I'd go further. That position has nothing to do with Mark Golding.
Correct.
There is no way the People's National Party, whoever is the leader, ever agree to a situation where we leave the monarch's court and we don't have sufficient confidence in ourselves to administer justice which is accessible to the people.
No, I want to play that back. What he just said, he just used a word that I'm not familiar with, and I'm sure others aren't either.
There is no way the People's National Party, that position has nothing to do with Mark Golding.
Correct.
There is no way that and being nothing to do with who was Mark's Golding father.
Oh gosh.
It is imbecilic.
Good word.
Imbecilic means very stupid or foolish, an idiot. You know the Bible saying if you call somebody an idiot. But this man found a way to do it. So, shots fired, ladies and gentlemen. I wonder who said that. I wonder who has been suggesting that the constitutional reform has anything to do with Mark Golding's father, the fact that he's British. So I'm telling you, Mr. Akimi. So the former Prime Minister, this is probably the most well-spoken Prime Minister ever in Jamaican history, outside of is it Michael Manley? I have to keep it a stack. Even Siaga was well-spoken as well, but this gentleman right here is in a class by himself when it comes to being a wordsmith. You know, my father is an avid reader. Quick story about my father. My father is an avid reader and he loves the dictionary. He loves words. He writes poems and stuff. He might be listening right now. Shout out to that. But he's an avid reader. And one of the things he loved about Pattison was that his skillfulness in how he addressed, people politically, the way how he delved with matters. He was a smooth criminal when it comes to wordplay. You had to go and look in the dictionary when this man was speaking half of the time. This is the first time I'm hearing about this word embellic. It means very stupid or foolish. So let's play that back for full context, shall we?
Would have been inserted. Some people are trying to make political mischief by suggesting that the reason for the position taken by the opposition party has something to do with who was Mark's Golding father.
Oh gosh.
It is imbecilic.
Good word.
And being charitable when I say that. I would go further. I'd go further. That position has nothing to do with Mark Golding.
Correct.
There is no way the People's National Party, whoever is the leader, ever agree to a situation where we leave the monarch's court and we don't have sufficient confidence in ourselves to administer justice which is accessible to the people. we represent. Of course, there are some other issues which I'm not going to delve into. There's at least one abhorrent proposal in the present bill.
Yeah.
I don't speak for the party. Mark does. I speak for myself. No. If they ever try to pass an amendment that says we have a ceremonial plus president that is appointed by 2/3 of both houses on the nomination of the Prime Minister after consultation with the leader of the opposition. And if he doesn't go through on the first round, then that person can be appointed by simple majority on the nomination of the Prime Minister.
Crazy.
I am going to be the first one out on the road because that cannot spin.
Listen, man, if you guys don't understand what is happening here, I want you to look at the countenance of this man, body language, his looking into his eyes. What he just said, he's very serious about. And I am so happy that the former Prime Minister, P.J. Patterson, let his voice be heard about this topic of the constitutional reform. Because what the JLP government is trying to do, and my well-thinking Jamaicans, do you guys hear the former Prime Minister saying that he is going to be the first person in the street protesting against something like that, even against his own party? He's saying that if the government along with the opposition should ever decide to sign off on this constitutional reform that the JLP government is presenting in its present form right now, he will be the first person in the middle of the street protesting against it. This is powerful. I have to play that back again. Yeah, man. This is powerful. He is not playing no games, Mr. Kimi. No games whatsoever. I'm telling you right now, and I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. Ryan, what's up, man?
By 2/3 of both houses on the nomination of the Prime Minister after consultation with the leader of the opposition. And if he doesn't go through on the first round, then that person can be appointed by simple majority on the nomination of the Prime Minister.
Crazy.
I am going to be the first one out on the road because that cannot spin.
Man, I am so happy to hear this from Mr. Patterson. You understand where the issue of the constitutional reform is concerned. Marlon Malawu Fort, going at corner over there, sir, here. Andrew Holness, going at corner over there, sir. You understand? PJ has spoken. And if you think PJ Patterson is this monster that you guys try to paint him out to be, let me tell you something. A lot of people respect PJ Patterson in this country. You know, the propaganda about the 18 years, yes, they made mistakes. Yes, there's some stuff that they could have done differently and better. However, what he did in that 18 years, there are tangible things you can look at that was also beneficial for this country. And I absolutely agree with him when it comes on to the proposal of this constitutional reform.
You don't want a ceremonial head of state,
Correct.
which is a surrogate or a puppet
The Prime Minister?
of the Prime Minister. I want to touch on another area which has to do with our electoral process. And I have to put it in context.
Yes, sir. Please do.
When in 1979, Jamaica appeared to be on the brink of a civil war, fueled by the external intervention of the Central Intelligence Agency. I repeat, what the conflict that was taking place at that time was fueled substantially because of the intervention of the CIA. And we now have conclusive evidence.
That's right.
And we know who were the players, including who was the trigger man on the other side. But today is not the day for that, to go into.
Whoa. Let's play that back. I need to slow that down. What did he say?
When in 1979, Jamaica appeared to be on the brink of a civil war, fueled by the external intervention of the Central Intelligence Agency.
CIA. Oh my God. I can't wait for this information to come out. 1979, when the CIA pulled up and interacted in you know what I'm saying? I see the CIA. Yeah, I've seen that, sweetie. What else you send me? Yeah, I don't wanna go off topic right now. That's a school fight right there. Lord have mercy, the kids.
I repeat, what the conflict that was taking place at that time was fueled substantially because of the intervention of the CIA. And we now have conclusive evidence.
That's right.
And we know who were the players, including who was the trigger man on the other side.
Uno hear that? Hey! Bangarang!
Ballot! Whoa! We need help, Jesus! Jamaica need help!
So hold on there. When him said the trigger man on the other side, is he talking about in the JLP party? Is he talking about a possible politician? Mighty God of Daniel, I send you a bunch of stuff. I stop now because your phone space. Sharon, what exactly you want? Me know say you send me all the thing, but me see the thing with the CIA and Bob Marley. But we are talking about 1979. 1979. I have heard so much stories about 1979. Oh man, I can't wait for them to put this out. I need to know who is the trigger man. Who is the trigger man, Mr. Patterson? Don't leave us in suspense, my brother.
But today is not the day for that, to go into that.
Come on, man.
But it is against that background that we set up what was then the Electoral Advisory Commission, which is now the Electoral Commission. There has been one cardinal rule, which is to accept the recommendations of the Electoral Advisory Commission.
Correct.
And that is why we have insisted that within that commission, there must be political representation.
Yeah.
So that the differences that arise on partisan sides are taken into account in the recommendation that is forthcoming.
Hey, my English not so good.
Oh my God, he's talking about the political ombudsman. Yo, this is dope.
For the first time in our history, the government of today has introduced an amendment affecting the powers and the operations of the Electoral Commission, which do not reflect a consensus.
Correct. First time.
And I regard it as lightning, which must serve as a warning.
People, what the man is talking about is not no small fry thing, you know. You see, I think it was last year, February, March, when I really started to touch into the political space and what is going on with it and learning things. That's the time I came across and understood. I did a story about the political ombudsman. I wanted to find out what was the significance of the political ombudsman. What did the political ombudsman do? You understand? And when I found out that he was the referee between the two parties, where the electoral process is concerned, and then he was removed by and deemed to be, not necessary by the JLP, my antennas went skyrocket. All I saw was corruption. And here we are, Mr. Patterson. And that's why a lot of people is saying that they're going to steal the election coming up. Right? This is what is said, that this is what is being said in the street, not my word. People are concerned that the EOJ is in the office of the Prime Minister. The same Prime Minister that is under investigation by the Integrity Commission for his statutory declaration not being certified. The same Prime Minister that is supposed to be investigated by the FID, which is also in his office. The agency operates within his office. The same agency that is supposed to investigate him. The conflict of interest, the potential cronyism, the potential corruption regarding the this administration and its leader is extremely alarming. And well-thinking Jamaicans should, one, educate themselves more on the political operations of Jamaica, and also do more reading and speak out. It's time to stand up and let your voices be heard. First, you have to understand the process, and then when you see what the politicians have done, this administration, it just like how you see Mr. Patterson speaking out. Speak out. Don't think that the platform that you're on, social media, is too small. Trust me. One video can go so viral, you wouldn't even understand the impact until you see it happen. But we need to speak up. Remember, it's the same Prime Minister told us that we should all come together in concert and speak against the wrongs that the government is doing. Right? We should not sit back and allow any government to operate as they seem fit without us letting our voices be heard. Now, on a side note, it's very, very sad that recently a vlogger came out and put out, just to add to the concern, ladies and gentlemen, a vlogger here came out and put out some information about the housing situation in Jamaica, the housing program that they're doing. And unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, that individual came out with a video speaking about the Prime Minister and what the Prime Minister did. What did the Prime Minister do? Well, the Prime Minister put up the post on his page, and that young man is being threatened, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately. That individual is being threatened as and by multiple threats. I'm trying to find what he said, but I'm gonna find it and then play it for you. Let's continue.
I had a very simple rule of thumb when I was Prime Minister. Anytime you're going to put forward a law, think of how you would react to that law if you were in opposition rather than in government. And if you know it will be unacceptable to you in opposition, do not pursue it. And partly I've been misunderstood considerably, even by my own party, by the way in which I have approached certain things. But the principal aim and motivation was to do what we can to unite Jamaica.
Yes.
Which is what Norman Manley said when he founded this party. I am talking about the amendment that puts into the hands of the EAC the powers of the political ombudsman. I view that unilateral imposition with great alarm. The EAC is not equipped to discharge those functions. 10 people or 9 people can't be an ombudsman. And what is more, there is conflict inherent because within the EAC or the Electoral Commission, you have people who are there because of their partisan political position. And you want an ombudsman who is not involved, who is immune from any kind of partisan consideration. I'm not going to talk about the question of the acts of corruption. I'm not going to delve into the cases and the allegations.
God. Yeah, I know.
Some of which are manifest, which are in the public domain, and some of them, of course, even before our courts. I'd simply say this. When I became Prime Minister, although the law did not require it then, I made my integrity returns public. I remember getting a letter from Michael Manley, who had then retired, who said, Master Stroke, my returns when I retired were also available for public scrutiny. So everybody can know what I went in with and what I came out with. No spelling or no guessing from whence it came. All I would say here, he that hath ears to hear, let them hear.
Embarrassing. He needs some milk.
Boy, ladies and gentlemen, me not lie. PJ never have to deal with Holness, so. Mighty God of Daniel. You never have to deal with him, so my boss. PJ said, at the time when he was Prime Minister, it was not mandatory for them to certify their statutory declaration. But as a standard of transparency, every single year, he made sure that he presented the information that was vetted to make sure there was no misconception about where his monies came from while he was the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Unlike Wagwan Joan, unlike Andrew Holness, right? That is one, going to court with the Integrity Commission. Two, trying to take away, he was trying to take away the actual, they're actually trying to take away impeachment from the Constitution. Meaning, say the politician them can just do anything them want, right? And if they are caught, they will never go to prison. Somebody make that make sense. Please make that make sense. It's not making no sense to me. But that's what I wanted to highlight in this particular let me just end it because I don't want the reaction to be too long. So on this part we dealt with the political ombudsman, constitutional reform, and they also dealt with statutory declaration, being transparent. You understand? Yeah. So tell me what you think about that, what PJ say.